Hello, my name is Anastasia. I am 34 years old, and about 5 years ago, I met my husband. About 3 years ago, we got married. Um, what I'm here to talk to you about is some life-changing events for me and for my husband. It's February now, and in December, the beginning of December, late November maybe, um, I had to have a serious talk with my husband because we'd been going through a rough patch and he was very unhappy. And because he was unhappy, that meant I was unhappy because we tend to feed off each other's emotions. And it's when you love somebody and they're so unhappy, like so unhappy, it's really hard for you to feel any of the happiness yourself. So obviously the best thing to do is to figure out what's wrong and fix it, right? Because then you can get on with the point of life, which is to be happy. So anyways, we had this serious discussion and my husband agreed to do some serious soul searching, and because it needed to be done, and he's a very smart guy. And anyways, the result of that was on New Year's Day, evening of New Year's Day. My husband sat me down and told me that he was transgender. Now, at the time, I didn't know much about being transgender except for what I had seen on TV. And most of what I had seen on TV was pretty negative. Stereotypes, right? Not very informative. The only informative thing I had seen was that documentary. And, anyways, other than feeling shock, I decided that the best thing I could do was listen to what he was saying, because this is what I asked for. I told him he needed to find out what was inside him. Well, he found a woman. And I listened to him talk, and he talked about being a woman trapped inside a man's body and the emotional traumas that it caused. And I can't imagine, how horrible it is to live that every day, right? We all have our problems, right? I'm overweight, and I find that traumatic. But if I was a man trapped in this body, I can't believe how horrible that would, that would just be so horrible. So I decided to do what I could to help him. So I separated myself and didn't let my emotions come into it. I just disassociated, I guess is the word. And I listened to everything he had to say, and I said, well, if that's what you need to be happy, if that's what you need to do, then let's look into it. Let's see what we can do. But I hadn't done any research or anything, so I had no idea what that was going to entail. So for the last month or so, I've been doing lots of research, and lots of research for him and lots of research for me, because eventually my emotions came back into play, right? It's hard. I married the man I love, and I found out the person I fell in love with is a woman. I am not a lesbian, and I'm not bisexual. I've always been attracted to men, and when my emotions started coming into play, I've got the terror of the unknown was definitely prevalent. And it still comes up. It's not like it's been a month, I'm over it. But my biggest issue seems to be that stereotype of a perfect family that I always had in my head. Like, I knew I would never have like a TV family or anything like that where, by the end of the episode, everybody talks out their issues. But I did think my family was going to include a husband, a wife, and children, right? So that's been my biggest hurdle, is to giving up my dream family. But when it boils right down to it, I love my husband through and through. Tomorrow, if he were to become horribly scarred and get erectile dysfunction or whatever, I would still love him because I love who he is inside. Because he's a woman inside, that means I love a woman, right? So, as I was doing my research, I found out there was that most of the women in my position, all they think about is, how do I change him back? Or how do I make him stop? And another thing I came across was, you don't, right? Like, the suicide rate for transgenders is so high. Like, so high. And I don't want my husband to kill himself. I don't want my husband to suppress who he is. I want him to be him, and him is a her. So basically, I'm going to be like a situational lesbian, which I'm going to have to come to terms with over time. Like I said, it's only been a little bit over a month, and that is a long way away before that happens, right? Like, there's steps to go through and things like that. And another thing is that I was worried about was the opinions of others, which has always been one of my issues, is I care way too much about what people think. And although it's gotten better as I've gotten older, I care a lot less. I just stop and think, like, am I going to let the opinions of others decide whether or not I can be in love with this person or happy with this person? And no, I'm not, because I love my husband. I love who he is on the inside. And I'm so grateful that he did that soul searching so he can finally be free. Right? The most important thing is to be happy. And he's been happier in the last month than I've seen him ever. Right? Like, there was always happy times here and there, but it was never consistent. And he's been so open and honest, very honest. And I'm very happy with how things are progressing emotionally. And we share a lot. Like, there's more openness now. One thing I've had to do is I've been keeping my fears and my doubts 90% of the time to myself, because I don't want to give any more pressure or weight onto his shoulders, because he's dealing with a pretty big issue there. And I know I probably need counseling or something, right? Like, I'm sure I do, but I don't have any major issues. I just need to, like, get things out, and I don't want to be a burden when he's already so burdened. So that's something else that I got to deal with. But on a bright note, today he publicly came out on Facebook. He, like, which sounds weird, but he publicly came out on Facebook. He had privately told the people he wanted to tell before, and then today he's just like, hey, this is me. And I couldn't be more than proud of it, because that takes a lot of courage to go against society's standards, and very, very proud. And I just want there to be more positive, uplifting things out there for people in my position, because no, it's not what you wanted, most likely anyway. I don't know. But life is what it is. And if you truly love someone, all you want is for them to be happy. And if they're forced to hide who they are their whole lives just so that you feel comfortable, then do you really love them? Like, you're supposed to love who it is inside. The outside trappings, they do matter to a certain extent. Like, I did tell my husband that if he had have transitioned before we met, I wouldn't have given him a chance, which is 100% true, because I am not a lesbian. So if she had been out then I wouldn't, we may have been friends, but I never would have hooked up with her, and that would have been tragic, because I am truly blessed to be with this person. I love this person, and this person loves me. And I'm coming to the realization that it would have been truly tragic if we did not meet, because I limited myself to just men or whatever. And I know I'm going to have to work through the not being sexually attracted to women thing, because I'm not a lesbian. But I'm pretty sure my husband can help me through that. He's pretty great. One of the more difficult things in the last month has been the 90% of our conversational topics have been about transitioning. Now, that's awesome. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm really glad that everything's out in the open, but my brain would get overloaded with the information. I would just need to take a step back and digest and let it sink in, right? Like, like I said, this is a life-changing event here, and it's not just affecting her, it's affecting me too. And I just would need, and that was something that took me a long time to let her know, that I need time to digest this. Can we please stop talking about this for a while? Let's talk about something else. I believe I worded it as, I just need to be. Just let me be for a while. And she did. And it was nice to just take a step back for a little bit and take a breather. And this is not what I would have picked. Right? What I would have picked would have been for my husband to be happy his whole life and not be in denial, or like so fearful of being himself that he would suppress his natural instincts because society says it's not normal or whatever. That's what I would have chosen. But that's not what happened. So here we are today, and this is my first video, and I'm hoping that my perspective and my outlook can be somewhat positive for some of the trans spouses out there who need something positive. Like, there is hope. From what I've read out there, most of the hope is that he's going to change his mind, but it's not a mind-changing thing. It is what it is, right? Like, there's no changing your mind. If you're a woman, you're a woman, right? Like, and if you truly love the person, like truly, then it really shouldn't matter whether they're a man or a woman or anything else. Anyways, this is my first video. I'm gonna watch it now and see how bad I did. Hopefully it's good enough to post. And if it is, I hope you got some information from it that helped you. Anyways, you all have a wonderful day, and God bless.